Good morning, everyone. Um, Welcome back. It is Thursday morning, and I want to get started with some movement. So you will see I have this fangle-dangle mic, so it's official now. Um, I want to start with some education about props. If you are a super bendy person, maybe you don't need a lot of props. I use a lot of props in my practice. The first is this yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. You could put just a towel down on a carpeted floor, or you could practice on a wood floor or on the carpet. I recommend barefoot. I always recommend barefoot for yoga. So, but here are some props that I thought might be helpful as you think about sitting and moving. So the first one is pillows from your couch. Maybe the one in the basement or the one in the living room. These make a nice thing to sit on, right, when we sit up. And certainly they can be folded, and it is often nice to have something soft to sit on. So a pillow, this is just another version. You could also, I like this one because it's got less cushion in it and it's bigger. You could also use just a regular pillow, like for your bed as, I don't know, something that could be folded that you could sit on. In class, we often have blocks. So one alternative to blocks are books. So this is Gray's Anatomy, the classic illustrated edition. It's a good one. What I recommend, so it's about actually the same size as my block. I recommend you find 2 books that are about the same size and take maybe some rubber bands and put around them to give some integrity to hold, or you could have straps and or something that you tie so that they stay together so you don't ruin your book. Look for those. If by chance you have a second yoga mat, that is also something you could have to sit on at the back of your mat. Especially when I travel, because I don't bring props when I travel, and if I'm taking a class somewhere, I'll often use a second mat to sit on. My last recommendation involves a towel. So this is just a small hand towel that's been rolled and has some rubber bands on it. But you could crank out the beach towels, right? Like if you had a big towel that you rolled, and again, you could cut up an old t-shirt and make ties to tie to keep it together. And thinking about sitting, right? Thinking about a way to sit. So you could pause this and find some things, or the next time you do a class with me, have some props with you. We are going to start today in seated, as we often do. So please find a comfortable position. Maybe sort of crisscross applesauce, giving yourself lots of permission to readjust. So if your first effort at sitting isn't quite right, no worries. Try again. here, take a few deep breaths in and out through your nose. Invite your eyes to close. And wherever your hands are resting, invite them to feel heavy and relaxed. Soften through your eyes. And release any tension you might have through your jaw. One way to release tension through the mouth is to bring a gentle half smile to the lips. As you allow your breath to return to whatever feels normal for you, once again, soften through the shoulders, and you might experience this by releasing tension and allowing your elbows to feel heavy. Sorry about that. You might also just let go through your belly. Just notice what's there. All of this muscular tension becomes a bit of armor for us. And it is worthwhile to take moments to relieve our body of that tension. As I do that today, I can feel an emotion come up. My eyes are wet with tears. And even if you don't have an emotional experience with it, just notice if you can stay with whatever is present. That might be staying present with the sounds around you. Maybe there's hum of a heater or a refrigerator. Maybe a clock ticking. What would it be to stay neutral and unguarded in your physical tension while you simply receive sounds? There's no need to point or direct the attention. Just notice how sounds find you. And please stay here for 3 more breaths without rushing. Perhaps shifting your awareness to the sensations of the in-breath and the out-breath. Just feeling the lungs fill and empty. the end of the third full exhalation. Just gently opening eyes. We're going to go through some warm-up. So I'm going to move what I'm sitting on out of the way. And I think I'm going to move my mat here so you can see this better. Okay. So I don't know how your hips have been. There's lots of sit, stay happening. So let's just start as we often would on a Thursday class with some warm-up of our hips. So sitting, nothing under the pelvis with some sort of crisscross applesauce. Let's all put our right shin in front. Hands on the knees. We'll inhale to lift the chest and bring the chest forward and just start a nice rock, a nice circle with the spine. As we exhale, the chin comes to chest. As we inhale, the chest moves forward of the shins. Exhaling, rocking onto the sacrum, that flat bone at the bottom of the spine. Inhaling forward. One more time. As we exhale, hanging onto the knees, the shoulder blades go wide. And then inhaling, shoulder blades coming together. And then let's reverse direction. So same thing. Exhaling, hollowing the belly, looking down toward the navel. Inhaling, shoulder blades together, chest forward. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll do 2 more in this direction. And then coming back up to our seated position. Let's see if we can, without hands, switch so the other shin is in front. I'm going to show this from the side. You don't need to move. So my left shin is in front. Hands are on the knees. I'm going to inhale, pulling on the knees, lifting the heart center, shoulder blades moving down the back. As I exhale, shoulder blades go wide, chin to chest. Inhaling brings me up onto my sit bones, and as I exhale, I rock back onto my sacrum. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back to a nice tall spine. Your left hand outside of the left hip. Right hand reaches up and over. A little bit of a side bend here. So avoiding dumping weight into that left hand. We can use it as a little bit of support, but we don't want to lock out the elbow and relax the ear. We want to be active here. So we're really reaching that right arm out and up. Take a few deep breaths here. And then inhale, come up, right hand. I like tented fingers. This helps me to prevent the dumping into my shoulder. So tented fingers by the right hip, left hand reaches up. We're going to reach over to the right. See if you can keep the left hip down. Even if it The pelvis wants to rock up. Energetically, you're pressing that left hip down. Come back to taking a few deep, full breaths here. And then inhale, coming up. Right hand on the left knee, left fingertips again by the left hip. First, adjust the spine. Sit up nice and tall and start that twist at the lower back. There's not a lot of rotation at the lower back, but we're starting there and we're going to work our way up the spine. Can you feel your middle back twist? Maybe your shoulders twisting. And the last thing is the neck. So you might look gently over your left shoulder. Keep that right shoulder soft and relaxed away from your right ear. Take one more full breath here. And as we inhale, come back around through center, left hand on the right knee, right fingertips outside the right hip. We first adjust the posture to upright and start this twist again at the waist. So feel the waist turn till it can't. And then can you feel that work up your spine? So can you feel your middle back, like your rib cage, twist until it can't? And then your shoulders. Can you also feel, maybe by pulling gently with the left hand, your shoulders twist until there's resistance? Maybe the neck, gently looking over the right shoulder, soft with the shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. You might again bring that nice, gentle half smile to your face to help your jaw stay relaxed. We'll exhale here. Inhale back to center. And let's come onto our hands and knees for some cat-cow. All right, so toes are curled under, palms are grounded. Remembering we don't want hands too close to the knees here. I'm obviously exaggerating, but we want our wrists under our shoulders so we have a nice side body long. Toes are curled under. Nice long spine looking down between the thumbs. We inhale length as if the crown of the head and the tailbone were moving away from each other as we take a big full breath in. And as we exhale, press into the palms, lift the belly and chin toward the chest. As you inhale, soften the belly, the pelvis tilts forward, shoulder blades move down the back. As you exhale, press into the palms, feel your shoulder blades go wide, chin to chest. Inhale, pelvis spills forward, shoulder blades together, traction the heels of the hands toward the knees, as if you were pulling your chest forward. Exhale, chin to chest, press strongly into the palms. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back to an inhale here, release the toes long, walk the knees together, and just allow the knees to drop over to the right. So just a little bit of a hip stretch here. We'll bring the knees up through, the hips up through center and hips over to the left. Just checking in with your hips. How are your hips feeling today? And then we'll inhale, coming back to center. I want to do some spinal balance. We'll see how we do here. So from here, we're in our tabletop position. Toes are long. On an inhale, pick up the right palm so that the right thumb faces up. Gaze is down at the mat on the inside of the left thumb here. If this feels steady and comfortable, pick up the left foot. So the adjustments your body makes, that little quiver and shake, that's the work. So feel free to adjust if you need. If it's a lot on your left wrist, you could come into a fist on the left with as if the palm was facing toward the center of the mat. Think about lifting the lower belly. And then we'll gently return the left knee to the mat, the right hand to the mat. And let's try the other side. Picking up the left hand, left thumb points up. And then again, if this is steady and comfortable, picking up the left foot. Our gaze is down on the mat here. See if you can think about length. The left hand moving away from midline, the right foot moving back away from the midline, your core. Keep lifting gently through the lower belly. Again, you could make a fist with that right hand if that would feel better to your body. One more breath in, and then we'll return the right foot, the left hand to the mat, knees wide. Invite your hips to shift back into child's pose here. So hips over heels, maybe forehead resting on the mat, arms extended. Taking just a moment to pause here. Come back to your breath. Nice easeful breaths in and out. Soften through your jaw. And then press through the palms, lift the elbows and the wrists off the mat. Come back to tabletop position. Curl the toes under, press into the palms and hover the knees. So if this immediately becomes a lot of weight on your wrists, remember you can shift your hips back slightly, taking some of the weight off of the wrists. And then with your gaze back between your toes, where your feet are, allow your biceps to come alongside your ears. So I'm in this kind of low squat position. My knees deeply bent. My heels are off the mat. Maintaining this position of my upper body, I'm going to gently work toward extending the knees, releasing the heels down toward the mat. Remembering I never need to have my heels all the way to the mat or my knees straight. From here, begin to just alternate, pressing one heel and then the other back. Just warming up that posterior chain. Nice and easy here. And then let's find some stillness in our downward facing dog. Again, our gaze is back to a space on the mat between where our feet are. We're pressing strongly into the palms, the whole palm grounded on the mat here. And from here, let's go ahead and walk our palms back toward our feet with a bend in the knees, so maybe the torso even resting on the thighs. We're gazing at a place between the knees. Allow the head to hang here. Soft, soft, soft through the knees.
You might shift the weight left to right a little bit through the hips, or maybe take hold of opposite elbows. See if you can release your toes, just picking up your toes and then setting them down, just so you don't kind of have a death grip with your toes here. And then we're going to roll up the spine. So gently lifting the belly. We're going to roll, arms stay heavy. Just a nice easy roll up the spine to standing. If for any reason you'd feel lightheaded, just a soft bend in the knees. Sometimes, I don't know, often I don't have breakfast before I do my practice. I don't ever have breakfast before I do my practice. And there are days I feel a little lightheaded, so just you could always bend the knees. Okay, so let's walk toward the front of the mat and find our nice mountain pose. So I like this challenge of finding this position, how it feels in our body first. So it's easy to look down and find alignment, but how does it feel from the inside? So you might pick up the toes and maybe spread them wide and set them down. And just notice how do the bottoms of your feet feel on the mat today. As you work your way up, notice, can you adjust your posture so it feels like your knees are above your ankles? And does that mean shifting your pelvis forward or back, maybe left or right? Just finding what feels like knees above ankles. And then we'll work our way up again, hips over knees. So same thing here. Can you relax through your glutes and your quads? So the quads, the thigh muscles, so they're soft. And just make small adjustments with your pelvis. When we find this optimal alignment, we don't need muscular tension to hold up our skeletal system. It just stacks on top of each other. So, you can check in with that. When we do our practice, we want to be active with our muscles, but, you can check in. Do you, for a very long time, I had a injury when I was young, and I used to hold tension in my left glute, always. Like just always had this low level of tighten that I never was aware of until I started doing yoga. And then I was like, gosh, why is this thing always tight? Why am I always... It would be as if you always held a shoulder up a little bit. And then I would be like, oh, I can relax that. And then the next time I would check, I'd be tightened there again. So with awareness and compassion and time, I am able to let go of that guarding pattern. So just notice, we want to move compassionately here. Okay, so next as we work up the body, we're thinking shoulders over hips. So many of us have sort of shoulders forward. Be mindful that you're not simply pinching your shoulder blades back together. What I prefer is a sense of telescoping the spine, as if the crown of your head was moving up toward the sky, and it was like lengthening through your spine. And from there, can you soften your shoulders away from your ears and allow your shoulder blades to sort of rest on your upper back? So shoulders soft. So there's lots of space here for your neck, Last, you might think about where your head carries on your shoulders. Many of us, that's forward, so drawing that chin back. Taking a breath or two here. Soft through the jaw. Let's move through some sun salutation A's. Whew. Okay, here we go. I want to remind you of Ujjayi breath. So remember, this is this sounding breath where we create friction at the back of the throat, and it sounds like this. Remembering that when we make that friction at the back of our throat, it swirls the air there, and it allows for them to be the exhale to be slower. We remember the breath is the foundation of the work. The rest that kind of looks like gymnastics, that's just what we're doing with our body. So okay, so from here, and the way you create that friction, remember, is if you were going to like clean your iPhone, you might go, as if you were going to fog the phone and then wipe it off, but then you close your mouth and let the sound come out your nose. Okay. So here we are, in front of our mat, grounded through our feet, gently lift up on the kneecaps so we're engaged through the thighs. And we have this little bit of a tuck with our pelvis. So you might think about it as the tailbone tucking under a little bit, or the lower belly, between the belly and the pubic bone, drawing in just a little bit. We exhale fully here. As we inhale, reach the arms out and up and look up. Full deep inhale. As we exhale, we're going to do a few breaths. Spin the palms to face down and exhale, arms to the sides. This is the length of your exhale. We'll do 2 more. Inhale. Spin the palms, exhale. Like you're swimming through the air. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Let's add on to it. Keep exhaling. Hands to the sides. Inhale. Arms reach out and up and look up. As we exhale, softness in the knees. We hinge from the hips. Release the head, neck, and shoulders. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift the belly, lengthen to a flat back. Shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, forward fold. Again, looking between the knees. Fingertips to shins. Inhale. Exhale, release. One more time. Fingertips to shins. Inhale. Exhale. Bend the knees, ground the palms, step back to plank, top of a push-up. So from here, give your glutes a little bit of a squeeze here and lift through the belly. For people that feel like this is a lot of effort for the shoulders, this is a whole body. We're like, this is all hands on deck. So see if you can use your glutes to help support your back, your core, and your shoulders. So gaze is down at the mat between the thumbs. We're pressing the ground away, so we're filling the space between the shoulder blades. From here, press the toes away, shift forward, and then exhale, come all the way down onto the mat. Release the toes long. Palms on the mat. On an inhale, using just the strength of the back body, peel the chest up. And exhale, release the chest down. Again, press into the tops of the feet here. Inhale brings us up. Exhale, release down. Notice your glute engagement. Remember, we can always use the glutes to help support the back. Inhale lifts us up, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, release down. Curl the toes under. You can press through the palms and hinge from the knees to tabletop, and then find downward facing dog. Pressing the ground away here. We're going to bend the knees and look between the palms, and on an inhale, step or walk the feet to the hands, fingertips to shins. Inhale, lengthen. Softness in the knees here. Exhale, release. On this inhale, press through the feet, lift the belly, sweep the arms out and up, and look up. And exhale, hands to the sides. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up and look up. Exhale, softness in the knees, hinge from the hips, release the head, neck, and shoulders. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, lengthen to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more times, fingertips to shins. Inhale, lengthen, lift the belly. Exhale, release. Last one, fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift the belly. Exhale, release. Ground the palms. Inhale, step back to plank. Again, pressing the ground away. So we want to resist the temptation to sink into the shoulders and sink the hips. We're pressing the ground away, squeezing the glutes here. Press through the toes to shift the weight forward. Elbows bend alongside the body, lower to the mat. On an inhale, again, using the strength of the back body, elbows alongside the body, come up. We're just going to stay here for a breath or 2. So check in with your back. You might squeeze the glutes a little bit more to give some support. Breathe in, breathe out. If your back feels okay in this position, you can begin to press gently into the palms. If this hurts your back in any way, just come on back down to using just the strength of the back body. 1 more breath in. Exhale, release. Curl the toes, press into the palms, hinge from the knees, find downward facing dog. 1 more full exhale. At the end of the exhale, we bend the knees, look between the palms. On the inhale, hop, step, or walk your feet to the front of the mat, fingertips to shins, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up and look up. And exhale, 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 hands to the sides. We're going to do 1 more round of Sun Salutation A. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, soft through the knees, hinge from the hips. Release the back of the neck. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower. Shift the weight forward. Elbows alongside the body, lower. Release the toes. On an inhale, find a version of back bend that feels good to your body. If it's okay for you, you might press all the way into the palms, lifting the pelvis up. And as you exhale, you can release all the way down. Inhale, curl the toes. Exhale, press through the palms. Find downward facing dog. One full deep exhale here. As we inhale, coming into our crouch position. Exhale, let's step forward. Release the head. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, palms to heart center. Palms pressed together, thumbs gently touching the sternum, the breastbone. Soften through the shoulders. See if you can release your left glute. And then opening the eyes. I want to show a twist and a hip stretch to finish. Here we go. We're going to just come to seated. And the twist I'd like you to work on is where you are reclined back, arms outstretched from the shoulders, palms face down. Lift the feet so that the thighs are perpendicular to the floor. So you can also think about this as the hips, the knees, the ankles all at 90 degrees. Press the palms down, maybe bringing the knees together. Inhale here. As you exhale, both knees go over to the right. Just before they touch the mat, we're going to press into the right palm. Inhale, draw the belly in, knees up through center. Exhale, knees over to the left. Inhale, press into the left palm. Bring the knees back up to center. Exhale, knees over to the right. Inhale, drawing the belly in as if that's what was lifting the legs up through center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, knees up through center. One more time each side. Exhale, over to the right. Inhaling up through center. Exhaling over to the left. And inhaling, knees up to center. Draw the knees in toward the chest. Hands maybe on tops of the knees. You might also bring the knees wide. That often feels better sort of on my back. So you might bring your knees wide. Draw them in toward your chest. You could even wrap forearms to help with that. And then here's our twist. Feet are down on the mat. So press your lower back down just for a second. And then we're going to press into the feet, lift the pelvis off the mat, move it over to the right an inch or two, and then set it back down. Cross the right knee over the left. So the knees are stacked here. Arms outstretched from the side again, and slowly, that whole leg complex moving over to the left. You can use your right toes as a kickstand if you'd like. And just see if you can soften through your right shoulder. Soften through your belly. Wherever you get to, see if you can really soften into it. Can you soften through your right shoulder? Can you relax through your right hip? And then coming out, we're going to press through the palms, legs back up to center, and then uncrossing the legs, press again into the feet, pick the pelvis up, first find neutral, and set the pelvis down. And then press through the feet, pick up the pelvis, move the pelvis over to the left an inch or two and set it down. Pick up the left knee, cross it over the top of the right, as if you were sitting with a skirt on. And now both legs moving over to the right slowly. Using maybe your left foot as a kickstand here. You could also make a fist with your right hand and use that as a block or a buffer just for the left knee to rest on. Soften through both shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. Soft through your jaw. See if you can relax through the left calf and the muscles of the left foot here. And in preparation to come out of the pose, right palm back down on the mat, draw the knees back up, place both feet flat, press through the feet, lift the pelvis coming into sort of a mini bridge, and then release the pelvis down. One more time, draw the knees into the chest, maybe rocking a little bit left to right. And then in whatever way is comfortable for you, come back to seated. So you might also fold the back of your mat to give yourself something to sit on. If you have a Grey's Anatomy book or some equivalent or couch pillow or some other pillow, you could also put that under your hips right now. Palms on the knees or maybe the thighs. Once again, closing the eyes. Come back to this sense of telescoping through the spine. Crown of the head moving up toward the sky. Relax and release the shoulders away from the ears. The tip of the tongue rests at the roof of the mouth, just behind the front two teeth, but not touching them. Breathe in, breathe out. Soften through the hands. Once again, just notice if you can allow sound to find you. Feel your pelvis heavy on the mat. You might shift, so where your sternum is, you might shift that back toward your back, just an inch, shifting your weight back onto your pelvis. And just open up this sense of hearing. Nothing to look for or go after. Just allow the sounds to find you. Your task here is to breathe in a way that feels comfortable and easeful for your body, and to find this receptive sense of hearing. Just opening up that sensation, not as if you were hearing simply with your ears, but what would it be to hear with your whole body? you notice your mind wandering, just gently bring it back by giving it the task of tracing your breath. You might take a few deliberate, larger inhalations and exhalations. Remember, we're just gently training the mind to be present. Take a moment to bring a gentle half smile to your eyes and your lips. You might think of some aspect of your physical body that you're grateful for. I'm grateful to be back with all of you. And as you gently open your eyes, thank you for making time to do this today. Habits. We're just building a return to gentle, healthy habits. So look around for some props, and I'll see you again soon.